Hey guys, so I'm here in my garage. This content that I am going to show today, I got to ride thanks to the offer from Moto, the importer of the Ohvales for the US. I was asked to come out and ride the new GP2. My bike was blown up at the time, so I had no other bike to ride. I did end up riding my buddy Jesse James's 190, which is the orange frame, the 2018-19 version. So I rode that most of the day, and then I only got one 15-minute session on the GP2. Little facts about the GP2. It is a complete redesign of the frame, the triple clamps, the swing arm, the subframe, the body. It obviously has 12-inch wheels. The swing arm's longer. The frame is a little bigger. It actually has more of a rake angle, so it's got a longer wheelbase. And then it just looks proportional. Riding it is significantly bigger. It feels bigger than even the 2020 190, my bike. But it was pretty funny riding the old 190 and then jumping on that 190, the GP2, and it was a pretty big difference. It was all crammed up on the little the 2018 190, and then the GP2 there's plenty of room. I for a second was like, I'm too big for this bike. Obviously I'm not, but I always say that my 2020 190 is the best training for an R6, or I have a SV650 that's at the dyno right now, but I think the body position and everything is pretty much the same as it goes to the big bike. But on the GP2, it for real is. It comes stock with Pirelli tires that are so amazing. This bike and my old 18 had the PMT slick tires on, and the Pirelli scooter tires that come on it are 2 times better. So long story short, at Apex track on my blue bike, I'm sitting on it now, that's why I'm tapping on it. On my blue 2020 Ohvale, my fastest lap time ever is a 44.5. So I did one 15-minute session on the GP2, and I got down to I think a 44.9. So that's 0.4 off my fastest lap time, and I literally just jumped on the bike for the first time and went out and rode it. So my 2020 190, when I'm doing a 44.5, I'm backing it in, I'm coming on throttle, and it's pulling coming out of a turn, or it's sliding coming out of a turn, and the bike is all over the place. And I like a looser bike that's moving like that, so I know when I'm in the rhythm and the bike's working like that and I'm working, that I'm on a fast lap time. When I rode that GP2, it never moved. The tires were glued to the track. I guarantee you, if I spent a whole day there on that bike, I could drop probably a second, maybe a second and a half on my fastest lap time if I got comfortable and used to the bike, which is pretty awesome. When I talked to Brandon at Moto before I rode it, he did say that the person who tested my bike when they built it the first time, the 2020, is the same person that tested the GP2, and his lap times were a second and a half better just switching to the GP2. So I don't know if it has, because it's got bigger tires, or because the tires are that much better, but it definitely was glued to the track. The other thing is the one we rode had stock gearing and a 4-speed, which took me a minute to get used to. But with the stock gearing, I think was wrong for that track. It was over geared. I had more in the straightaway, so if I probably would have dropped a tooth or two. Actually went up a tooth or two in the rear to get get more throttle. So at the end of the straightaway, I'm almost redlining. It would have definitely been faster, in my opinion. I do think the gearing was a little off. The suspension was a little stiff for me, which was fine, but I rode it, and they ended up dropping the front forks, I think 3 millimeter, and dropping it, I mean loosening the clamps and sliding the fork tubes down, which would actually give the bike more length and more stability. With that being said, so they did that, and it definitely handled better, but more stability. I just said that and kind of keyed a reminder. The 2020 and the 2018, or 2020 and newer, the 190s, the GP0s, are very twitchy. It takes a minute to get used to the handlebars. The tires are small, the bars are wide. Definitely is kind of a learning curve to ride the bike for how fast it is. The GP2, because it has that more rake angle to it and the bigger tires, it's not twitchy. It actually feels like you're riding an R6 or something. So that was pretty cool. I wasn't going to get a GP2, and I still might not, but after riding it, it's pretty awesome. I would probably sell mine, and if I got the same amount or pretty close to it, I'd probably get a GP2. With that being said, if you're interested in mine, it does have a new motor on it with only 6 hours, a slipper clutch and all that. I was actually thinking it'd be a pain in the butt because I just put the new motor in my bike, but I would probably sell my 4-speed motor in my bike and bring the 5-speed, the new 5-speed motor that I got in my blue bike, and put it in my GP2, because that would be the best of both worlds. I'd have my 5-speed, and then on the GP2 with its stability and handling and stuff like that. So here's some photos of me riding it. I didn't get any video. I only had one session. There's a phone clip at the end. You can kind of see me riding it. But initial reviews is the GP2 is pretty awesome, and apples to apples, I'd probably, if I had the chance, I'd probably take the GP2 over the GP0. But it's up to you, and I mean, if the grown-ups that are watching, definitely just go with the GP2. Kids, I'm 5'5", maybe 5'6", 5'5", and I fit on the 2020, the white frame Ohvale perfectly. But the GP2 is pretty awesome. So enjoy the photos, and thanks for watching, guys.